Hello and welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast bringing you the smallest, most insignificant news from not around the world from this place. How's your week been? Oh, my name's Chris Bolson. How's your week been, Alison?
Yeah, my name's Alison Hoare and my week has been as per usual, really.
So, like, just, fighting crime,
Fighting
having
crime, the usual kind of stuff. Maybe doing some crimes myself, fighting some crimes. A little bit of all of it, really.
Are you saying that you fight crime, but you create the crime that you fight as well?
Yeah, it's I'm like Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler.
You've created this self-perpetuating cycle of Batman and the Joker at the same time.
Exactly. Now, yesterday I did share with you some literature which I found that you didn't respond to, so I was quite heartbroken.
I'm sorry about that. I have no excuse. I was not doing anything of value. I'm just really bad.
You were just playing video games and you looked over and you saw your best friend had shared with you some literature that she had picked up on the street.
And I thought to myself, I won't read that. And that's so mean. To be fair, the video game doesn't have a pause button. So,
how does a video game not have a pause button?
Because it's an online one.
Okay.
So I forgot,
see.
and then I forgot. Yeah.
Imagine if you could pause MMO games, and then every other player just gets on your pause screen.
I like to think that every other player stops moving physically. Like I pause time.
Yeah,
for them.
Exactly. But it's like when you're playing Mario Karts or something against your siblings and they're really sore losers, and then when you're about to win they pause the game on their controller and then you can't unpause it on your controller.
No, Alison, I've not had that experience because my siblings are nice people, unlike yours apparently.
Just pause the game before they win and then it's just really mean.
It's very upsetting to me because they're going to listen to this, because I know my sister at least listens to this podcast, and she's probably the weakest Mario Kart player out of the three of us, and she's going to know this now and have this technique.
She's going to have the technique. It also works in Smash Brothers when you're getting
God damn it, fuck you.
bashed off the edge and then you're flying away and you're about to die and you pause it and then you walk away.
Why don't you just unplug the Switch at that point?
Because it's more frustrating for them.
Press the off button.
Seeing your character there about to die but you've paused it.
But at some point you have to unpause it unless you quit.
Yeah, then you fight and then your parents say no more games and turn off the console. And then you weren't the one who turned it off. You just paused it.
And then your parents say, Alison, you're 27. Why are we still having these problems?
Why are you still doing this? No, I don't still do this. But anyway, the specific literature I picked up, as you know, as we talked about before we recorded this, I was walking...
Sorry, all right.
I was walking by across from our university, and there's a strange gallery thing there where they often have exhibitions of various different things. Usually they're related to religious groups. The Unification Church has had a bunch of different galleries there, which is fun. But I walked by and they had a big sign saying, check out the evils of psychiatry and human rights and stuff like that. I'm
Both
like, this is
famously evil things. So
this has got to be Scientology. I don't know of any other group that's so vehemently anti-psychiatry specifically. And so I picked up the flyer. It didn't have anything about Scientology on it, but it's got to be. And then I went home and I Googled it, and lo and behold, it was.
Oh my God.
And then as I arrived home, because, my life kind of revolves around Scientology in a lot of ways.
Inexplicably, yes.
Inexplicably so. Someone in my apartment building, or who used to live in the apartment building, is subscribed to the Scientology newsletter that arrives each day. Well, each month, I think. And so I have in my hands here a very wet Scientology Sydney newsletter.
Fuck.
It's wet because it was raining, not for any other reason.
Because I got excited.
Yeah. And I just wanted to share with you a little extract from this because I feel like, it's something that we as news creators can relate to, their choice to write this sentence. So this is from a Meet a Scientologist article. And this Meet a Scientologist, they do in every newsletter. I've read a few of them. And it shows the different church members across the globe. And they explain the impact the religion has made on their life. And so whoever's writing this has chosen to write this sentence.
Okay.
Guilla Bartolini is an Italian water polo champ. But when she first dove into sport, coaches told her she wasn't cut out for the extremely demanding game. And that's all I'm going to read, because I think it's nice to know that even the Scientologists put puns in their stories in their newsletter.
I love that shitty puns are universal. That's
It's
just
universal.
something that even, dare I say it, cults use them.
Yeah, even they use them because they know that's how they'll sound like a legitimate news if they put a pun in, you know?
Not like a cult, which is
It's
what
not
they are.
propaganda if there's puns. So...
That's a fun rule. Like, if there's a pun in it, it's not propaganda.
Yeah, it's news.
Oh, can you imagine? Like fucking Soviet propaganda puns in it.
My favourite thing about these Scientology newsletter magazines is that every picture is like a stock photo. Like they've just Googled happy smiling lady and put in a lot of pictures of happy smiling lady in there.
I'm trying so hard right now to think of a pun that like I could use in a propaganda thing, and it's really hard to come up with puns on the spot, it turns out.
Now, what Scientology puns can you come up with?
Oh, God. I'm drawing such a mental blank. I don't know. I was trying to come up with like a military pun because I was like, that's propaganda, military
Okay.
advertising.
Sure.
So you could do like, join the army, it'll be a blast, or something like that. But
Okay. That's,
that makes it fun.
it does make it fun. It does make the prospect of blowing up innocent people more fun. When
Right? It
there's
sounds like it's a blast.
It's a blast. Okay.
And you know it's pronounced with that exact tone of voice.
It'll be a blast.
Blast.
A blast. The military person who they've recruited to say that is like, so are you sure this is appropriate? And like, if it's a pun, it's not propaganda.
Back when
That's the rule.
Back when I worked at the Daily Mail, this is what we would have put. So I'm going to use that Daily Mail experience for this military advertising.
Back when I worked at The Bridge, Scientology's Sydney newsletter, I would put puns in because I was told if it's punny, it's not propaganda.
The problem is, Alison, I actually know very little about the religion, in scare quotes, of Scientology. So I don't know if I like have the content to come up with a pun about it.
Sure.
I need to one day
you
I'll
need to
watch
brush
that
up on
movie
your
about
skills. Which movie about it? The Going Clear?
No, I was going to do the Paul Thomas Anderson, The Master, the one that's like
The,
about
like-
Scientology but not about it.
The fictionalized version.
Yeah, because that I think is a... If we're talking about equivalence, I think it makes sense that I get a fictionalized account of Scientology, just like Scientologists get a fictionalized account of the world.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Now, if you are looking for some literature, some visual literature on Scientology, I do recommend Louis Theroux's one, because it's quite fun. He tries to like get in touch with some Scientologists, and they're not really too keen. But it's good. It's a good watch.
Can you do me a favour and go to your Twitter bio and change the first two words to Scientology expert?
Well, considering I've had Channel 7 rip off my Scientology story, and that's my famed news moment.
I think you're qualified. And I also one day want you to be interviewed on a program as a Scientology expert. That's my dream.
I looked
for you.
up a Scientology expert to talk to for a story that I was doing. And it was literally just a guy who, you know, had self-proclaimed himself a Scientology expert. I feel like it's one of those things that you can self-proclaim yourself an expert
You just
on.
become. So you can definitely do it.
You just start accumulating lots of the Scientology literature in your house, and then when somebody, you know, you die in
And then
mysterious circumstances.
when you have friends over, it's very uncomfortable.
Or, like, if something were to happen to me and the police were to, like, investigate my house, they would find a lot of Scientology-related material for someone who has no affiliation with the Church of Scientology.
What's fun about that is then they're going to have to investigate the Church of Scientology for whether or not they murdered you, and they're going to uncover a whole other conspiracy.
Yeah, well,
whilst
that'd be
they're there.
good, wouldn't it?
They're not going to solve your actual
No,
death,
they
though,
won't.
'cause
My
it
murder would have had nothing to do with this.
Your murder was Channel 7 trying to get back
It was,
at you.
yeah, my old mate Brian, whose name I shall not mention, his last name.
Death by Brian.
Yeah, it was old mate Brian who was trying to claim the copyright on my story.
Do we want to make a podcast?
We do. Now, I actually wanted to start off with this little part because it kind of leads into what we're talking about relating to inappropriate puns.
Okay.
This is actually... It's not so much the news story itself that I'm interested in. It's the comment section on Facebook.
Ooh.
So the news story, it's not really a funny story. It says, it's from ABC, and this is on the ABC News comment section, which is usually full of people saying, oh, not my ABC, it's their ABC, defund it. That's usually what I can expect.
Yes.
But I was pleasantly surprised and also horrified to see what the comment section on this had become. So the article says, the headline that people are commenting on says, woman cuts off hand with saw in an attempt to claim insurance.
Oh, Jesus.
But you should be pleased to know that doctors recovered it in time to sew it back on. That's what I discovered having read the article.
That is good.
So we're not laughing at someone with no hand. We're laughing at someone who has had their hand sewed back on.
I think it's acceptable if you laugh at someone who self-inflicts their no hand as an insurance scam. Like, I think that's...
And then has their hand reattached, so their insurance scam went completely down the toilet. Now...
No, they just have no nerve endings. So it's...
Now the story the story itself I'm not going to go into because that's basically it. She tried to scam insurance by cutting off her hand and then it got sewed back on.
There are easier ways to scam insurance.
Well,
just like set your car on fire. That'll work better.
Sure. I'm now picturing the bit in It's Always Sunny when they try and like fake their deaths and crash into the wall and they discover it's very hard to burn a car.
The Red Menace, sponsored by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I wish. What a dream.
Wish.
So this is some puns shared by the lovely people of Facebook. So this is what James has said. I'm stumped for a witty response. Selena has said, hands down, the stupidest thing I've heard all year.
That'd be a pretty handy scam if it worked.
Yeah, well, it would. John has said, the things people will do for a handout. Bryn has said, there's a story no one saw coming. Now,
I can count the number of good insurance scams on one hand.
I like what Bryn has done here because she's taken the saw element that other people...
They missed out on that.
They missed
Even
out on that,
I
yeah.
missed out on that element.
Yeah, and she used that. I didn't see her saw pun coming. Tim Riley, he's got a bit of a meta pun. He says, enough with all the puns. Just give it a wrist, would yous?
She can't have been very sharp.
There's a lot more puns. I'm going to keep going. It's quick fire. Aaron has said, she came, she saw, and she went with her hands-free option.
Okay, that's convoluted, but I like it.
It took a while to get there. Now, there's a couple of points here which make very good points about that it's actually quite inappropriate to be making puns here. And I'm going to, like, out of guilt, just scroll right past them because... Yeah. Simon says, she was caught red-handed.
It would have been such a bloody mess.
No. Tom says, got to hand it to her for going out on a limb. Next, she could have joined the army. Then everyone would know her legacy. I don't get, like, the legacy part. Come on, buddy. That's a different limb.
Yeah, that's not it.
Mal says, so all of them had a hand in it.
That again, but there's only one person, so I want my puns to
Her
make...
family was involved in the insurance scam.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how that conversation went.
Yeah, it's like, so guys, I think about cutting off my hand to claim the insurance.
And they were like, oh, we had you at hand.
We had you at cutting off your hand. Just, no, it keeps going. There's a couple more here that are in the top of them. Eddie has also got a bit of a different angle on the whole pun. He says, this story is a cut above the rest.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
There's a pun I want to come up with, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
Ooh. Now, there's a lot... Martin hasn't written a pun, but he's written a bit of a zinger. He says she was planning on doing both hands, but she was no longer able to pick up the saw. Martin.
Okay. That's quite funny.
That's not a pun. That's just a...
I'd imagined it was an electric saw that was just, like, stationary, because I can't imagine it was a, like, hacksaw, because that's too horrific for me to think about.
It was a circular saw.
Okay, so she should have just left it stationary, then it's like one hand, zoop, other hand, zoop. Oh, no. And I guess I gotta learn to play Xbox with my toes.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll read one last one from Jonty. Jonty says, she cut off her left hand to claim insurance money? No need to worry, she's all right now.
Oh, okay, that took me a second.
That was a clever one.
That was clever.
That was clever. That was, yeah, but also, it's... As much as I like what Facebook has come together to do here, I appreciate that everyone's having their little, having their fun here. Someone raises a good point, and this is Jillian. She says, this isn't funny at all. For all the dreadful puns in the comments, this tells a story of both extreme desperation and the collusion also constitutes family violence beyond our own privileged understanding.
Well, that's fair.
I'm like, well, Jillian, you have a very good point.
Jillian, Jillian, we just made 5 minutes of content out of this.
Yeah. Jillian has a very good point, but, I feel like her hand is reattached now. And I would gather a majority of these people probably haven't read the article. They've probably just saw the headline and went straight for the comment section to make their hand puns.
I will say this. These people can afford insurance, which means they have more money than me. So I think I'm allowed to make fun of them.
Sure, okay. Fair enough. Now, do you have a story?
I do. I want to bring to the table, when my phone unlocks, this story from CBC Radio.
Oh.
Man angry his photo was used to prove all hipsters look alike.
I read this one.
Then learns it wasn't him. This is maybe the funniest thing I've ever read.
This is a great story.
A man threatened to sue a technology magazine for using his image in a story about why all hipsters look the same, only to find out the picture was of a completely different guy.
Oh my god, inadvertently proving the point of the article.
I know, it's beautiful. Give me 1 sec, just go open up in the browser, see if we can get a picture of this gentleman. So, the picture, I'll describe it, is of a gentleman in a flannelette-looking collared shirt, button-up.
Sure.
Wearing a beanie. He's a tanned guy. He's got a pretty fresh-looking beard, a sharp jawline. He looks like a model of some description.
He looks like what I'd picture if I was picturing a stereotypical hipster.
Yeah, but like a hot one.
Yeah, he looks like a sim, basically.
He does look like a sim. That's actually very accurate. But I wouldn't look at this picture and think that's me. Because he's got red hair, doesn't have red hair, and he has a beanie on, and I would never do that.
No.
So the story in the MIT Technology Review detailed a study about the so-called hipster effect, the counterintuitive phenomenon in which people who oppose mainstream culture all end up looking the same.
I mean, it's kind of the similar argument to be made about emo back in the day.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it's weird, because hipsterdom was originally, about things being ironic. You wouldn't wear the things that are currently, acceptable fashion as, because this is cool. You wear it ironically because you think it's stupid, but now it's just become unironically cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, in turn, defeats the point of originally being a hipster. So I don't think hipsters... I actually don't think hipsters exist anymore. I think whatever we have now is some weird, like, Frankenstein's hipster.
I don't know. I feel like subculture culture. I don't know how to put that in a more, nicer way. Subculture culture has kind of died a little bit with,
culture.
Yeah. Like, back in the day, back when we were teens, there were very, very obvious subcultures. You had your emos, you had your goths, you had your scene kids, and they were all separate but affiliated. And then you had, like, your orange-faced preppy people, and all of those kind of subcultures were very, like, real and really there were a lot of crossovers, but there were very prominent subcultures in terms of fashion. But these days, I feel like those kind of subcultures to that extent don't really exist. People tend to, not that everyone tends to try and dress the same, but I think people are more following, internet fashions as opposed to...
We could definitely spin this in the sense of it just means that everybody gets to be their own individual way, which is probably a good thing. But thanks to capitalism, it all ends up being very similar.
That's not how it works. That's not... Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, makeup gurus and all of those kind of people. Originally, I think people liked the way that their makeup with their, like, contours and all of that was really, really, like, eye-catching and standing out. But now that's kind of generic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the expectation now is that you have, like, contoured makeup and all of that kind of stuff. Which is kind of depressing.
Yeah, I feel
for people
that.
like me who have no makeup skills.
I mean, I definitely don't have the angles to make the contours work, so
I feel like that's the point of contours, though, is you don't need angles.
That's true. I need a stronger jawline, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off my beard and just start contouring.
Just start contouring. Get the, like, crayon and colour in the side of your cheek until it makes a jawline.
The inclusion of a version of a Getty Images photo of a bearded, flannel-wearing man tinted with a blue and orange hue prompted one reader to write to the magazine, "Your manner in which you reported this uncredited nonsense and the slanderous, unnecessary use of my picture without permission demands a response, and I am, of course, pursuing legal action."
Is this person famous? Or
I
is it
will
just
have
a random guy?
I think it's just a random guy.
Like, if you're just a random guy, imagine your ego to automatically assume the pictures of you.
He read MIT Technology Review, or he did a Google reverse image search on a picture of him, and it was so similar to the other picture that Google mistook this for him.
No, I like the prospect that this guy just Google reverse image searches pictures of himself.
Do you not do that?
I mean, I Google my name sometimes to see how my analytics are going.
I Google my name sometimes to see if the one other Chris Bolson who is living is still above me on Twitter.
Is he still above you?
I think we're about even now, so that's something. He works in some sort of evil corporation in America, so I'm doing better by working in an evil corporation.
Everyone follow Chris on Twitter so he can become a bigger Twitter presence than his alter ego.
Then I might remember to use it more often.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually him. The site's editor-in-chief, Gideon Litchfield, spoke to As It Happens host Carol Off about their bizarre exchange. Here is part of their conversation. What was this study in the article about hipsters? What was the gist of it? It was a mathematical model of why people who tried to differ from the crowd ended up conforming to one another. Which is, fucking dystopian.
Yeah.
And you had an illustration of a man, a photo of him, in this article. Why did you get an email from someone, an angry reader, who threatened to sue you because of that photo? These are such fucking leading questions.
It really are.
He saw the article. He saw the photo. He thought the photo was of him. And he, I guess, maybe has something against hipsters or being called a hipster. But he did not like it. He wrote some things that were very uncomplimentary about the article itself.
It's a very diplomatic way to put it, isn't it?
What questions did that raise for you when you got that letter? The first moment I see something like that, my question is, well, did we do anything we shouldn't have? So I looked at what this accusation was and I said, he seems to be accusing us of implying he's a hipster. I'm pretty sure that can't be prosecuted for slander.
No, I don't think that's slander. I somehow don't think you can sue for that.
Okay, if someone who hates hipsters, like say Alan Jones calls me a hipster, is that slander because it's Alan Jones saying it?
No, it's just funny.
Fair enough.
If Alan Jones calls someone a hipster, you know they're doing the right thing. It's kind of complimentary. I feel like most people who Alan Jones insults are people that I would want to be friends with.
That's true. That's how you know. That's how you find your social group. Is just look for people Alan Jones is insulting.
Look for the people that like right-wing shock jocks insult, and then you're like, yeah, I'd probably be friends with them.
My second thought was, I'm sure that we used this photo in accordance with the license, and we got it from a reputable agency, Getty Images, so there wouldn't be a problem with using it even if the person in the picture doesn't like the implication.
Sure.
So I forwarded the email to our art department, and their response was, yes, we have the right license, but we can take the picture down if he's annoyed. But the creative director said, no, this is an image that we used with permission and perfectly in accordance with our rights. We shouldn't take it down just because somebody doesn't like it. I'm so mixed on this person because they're completely right.
Yeah, they are.
It's a weird stand to take, and they're dealing with a dipshit. But
yeah.
A lot of these talking points get used by shittier people.
Yeah, they do. And to be honest, if I had a picture of myself used in an article that I found to be uncomplimentary, that had nothing to do with me personally, I probably would find that a little bit annoying.
Here's the question, though, Alison. Do you frequently mistake pictures of other people on the internet for pictures of yourself?
No. It's not something that happens regularly in my life, so I probably would not be in his position.
No. Then there's just a long, dry thing. So we have a team that deals with legal complaints, and they went into their archive and checked the details, and they came back and said, actually, the model in this photo does not have the same name as the person who wrote to you. They wrote to him and said, we don't think this is you, and he replied, oh, I guess you're right, it's not. No apology, though.
Oh, I guess you're right, it's not me.
Whoops, I'm sorry for all of that shit that I said. Except he didn't say that part. He was just like, whoops.
No, he didn't say that part, and he just kind of let it slide.
And then he, at the end, says, but if this was your sort of iconic image of a hipster, and someone who is angry at the idea of being accused of being a hipster says it's not him, what does this say about hipsters? And I think it says what the study says, which is that all hipsters look alike.
Yeah, it does. It kind of proves the point of the article.
My problem is that we're not focusing on... I don't think it's the fault of hipster culture. I think it's the fault of, identikit fashion and branding going for, lowest common denominator. I think we should blame capitalism, not blame this guy who I'm going to name Sean.
I mean, it's kind of if you've ever gone to the shops regularly, you'll see the whole fashion changes seasonally. And then every clothing in every store, every piece of clothing in every store, looks kind of similar. Just of different levels of quality. You go into the high-quality stores and they've got this fashion, and then you go into all the cheaper stores and they're just trying to copy what the high-quality stores are doing, and it all looks very same.
So I recently have been trying to broaden my fashion palette because it's kind of just like blue and grey. So I've been going to... Every month or so, I've been just going to H&M buying some new shirts, seeing what I can get. Here's the thing. All of the shirts that fit my body type have some sort of Hawaiian or summery insignia. I'm currently wearing a, peachy-coloured shirt with a palm tree on it. It says Hawaii. On the back, there is an even bigger palm tree. I have bought, in the last month, literally 3 other shirts with that similar sort of pattern on it.
Why have you become a summer boy?
Because I bought one other shirt that was blue and white striped, and then I put it on and it instantly suction cupped to my body and was the least flattering thing I've ever worn. Because the only shirts that they make that fit me are fucking Hawaiian summer shirts. And this person that I've been... Oh no! The person I've been seeing recently was asked me why I wear Hawaiian clothes all the time. And I was like... Fuck me, I have been wearing Hawaiian clothes all the time. What have I become?
That's who you are now. It's your identity. That's the fun person you are. Although you've got to start going to like all of the hipster markets, and then you can find like the kind of ironic Hawaiian shirt designs where they've got like some like Australian motif on the Hawaiian shirt.
Counterpoint, I bought this shirt for $8, so I think I'm just going to keep wearing this shirt.
Go to Lowe's. They have a lot of Hawaiian shirts there.
Oh, hell yeah.
I've got a like surfing Santa Hawaiian shirt that my sister owns.
Well, that's better than anything I've ever bought.
It's very iconic.
Do you have another story for us?
Yeah, I've got a few stories. I've got this one, but I feel like this is probably one that you have also got.
No, just toss it out there.
Well, this is one that my friend sent to me. So this is from my friend Benji, I believe. Let me just double check that was who sent it, because I had 3 stories sent in by friends this week.
Whoa.
I don't think I'll get to all of them. But yeah, this is from Benji. Thank you, Benji. I don't know if you listened to this or if you just sent me that because you think it's a funny story, but I am assuming you sent me this because you've listened to this.
We can
I
dream.
don't know. We can dream. And this is probably one that you've encountered and that you may also have picked up for this week, which is from ABC North Coast.
Okay.
And it's by Samantha Turnbull, and it's about a man who has great aspirations for his town.
I don't think I have picked this one out.
You don't have this one? Okay, well, this is an artist who has great aspirations for his town. His town called Woodenbong.
That's not right.
That's the name of his town, Woodenbong.
That's not okay. You can't do that. And also, I don't know if a wooden bong would work. I guess you can make a bong out of anything.
The artist would like to create a wooden bong for his town, Woodenbong.
We got the big
You
banana.
didn't find this story? This isn't one of your... Okay, good.
We got the big banana, the big pineapple, and the big bong.
The big wooden bong. So the headline goes, I'm going to read this headline because, again, it's got a pun in it, so we know it's not propaganda. Artist carves out plan for big wooden bong for the town of Woodenbong.
Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
Now, this guy looks exactly like the kind of guy who would be making a giant wooden bong. I'm just going to describe him for you. He's a man. He looks like he's, kind of in his 40s, I suppose. He's got, 5 o'clock shadow and 3 piercings in his nose, giant gouges in his ear, and he's wearing a bandana with speed dealer sunglasses on top of the bandana.
Fuck me, that's rough.
And he has a shirt with lots of buttons down, so you can see his chest hair, with some silver chains over the top.
Oh no!
And let me describe what he's wearing on his legs. He's wearing those baggy jeans with the chains that hang down that were popular at one point.
Oh my god, he's from 2003.
He is from 2003. He's also wearing Vans, so I think that also matches the
What
2003
a weird fucking
aesthetic.
hodgepodge. That's rude because I wear Vans. But continue.
I wear Vans too. I wear exclusively Vans and Converse and Docs, so I don't think I can speak about his choice of footwear. Anyway, so this man, who looks exactly as you'd imagine, is going to make a big wooden bong for Woodenbong. Let me get into the article. Australia is renowned for its big tourist attractions, and an artist from northern New South Wales reckons he has come up with the most extraordinary yet, a giant wooden bong for his hometown of Woodenbong. Paul Pearson makes bongs, devices commonly used to smoke cannabis, although his creations are ornamental artworks rather than functional. That's what he tells the cops, for sure.
Of course they are, Paul. Of course they are.
When the cops come to his bong shop, he's like, they're ornamental. They're not functional.
Fuck, I want to start making, can you imagine the number? I'm going to make, ice. And I'm going to be like, these little crystals, they're purely decorative. These are aquarium rocks, police people. You also shouldn't smoke aquarium rocks.
Please don't smoke the aquarium rocks. Please don't put these aquarium rocks onto a spoon and then put a lighter underneath and make the...
That would be the best cover for for a meth shop, is an aquarium.
Now, okay, this is picture... I haven't really described it in its full majesty because it's him standing there with his arm around a giant bong that he's made. This isn't the big one. This is a normal size. And if you hover your mouse over the picture, the pop-up that comes up explaining the picture is just Big Bong.
Do you think he, like, instead of a body pillow, he has a body bong that he sleeps with at
Sure.
night?
Well, that's what it looks like here. He's got his arm around like a human-sized bong.
He's drawn a face of a lady on it. He's drawn boobs on
Like
it.
an anime lady. So this is what Paul says. He says, I've always had an interest in bong making and art.
No shit,
I've been
Paul.
doing it all of my life, he says. I've been making them out of dolls, plastic lobsters, vases, exhaust pipes, everything.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, exhaust pipes. You know how I have a thought, which is that you know how people can, like, pump. This is a dark place, but we'll get to a good place from it. You know how if you get the car and you, like, funnel the exhaust back inside, you can, like, suffocate yourself or, like, gas yourself.
Yeah,
what
that's
if
very
instead?
dark.
What if you put weed tainted petrol in the car
And
you
made
could
it like
make
a hot box.
the fucking next level hot box?
I'm making a lot of jokes about this for someone who's literally never injected a weed in my life. It says here, Mr. Pearson built one bong that stood at 1.5 metres, but he had an even bigger goal that he believed would bring droves of tourists to the rural community. I believe people from all around the world share my dream, Mr. Pearson said. I envisioned a giant wooden bong, taller than the big merino in Goulburn.
Holy
Tourism
fuck,
is
how
our only
big is
option
this?
for survival.
Trees don't grow that tall. How is this?
The big merino, he's standing next to the 1.5 metre one, but the big merino is a very big boy.
It's like 20 metres tall. I don't know how big. This is a humongous
This is
bong.
a monstrous bong
The
that
whole
he plans
town
to
could
create.
get fucking blazed on that bong.
No, it's ornamental, Chris. It's ornamental.
It has to be functional though, because then that's the only way it's authentic.
Yeah, that's the only way you get like the true ornamental value is if
All
you
of
could
his-
use it, if you wanted to, but it's not intended for use.
All of his ornamental bongs are functional. They have to be. What's the
Yeah,
point
that's
otherwise?
part of the ornamental value.
They're
It's like
artisanal.
ornamental guns and swords, you know? They have to be functional. You just...
I feel like it's hard to make a sword non-functional. Like, if you attach a metal spike to a handle,
yeah,
like,
well,
it's
you've
going
kind
to
of
get the
made
job
a sword.
done. Yeah.
Unless the metal spike is not sharpened, but you could easily sharpen that yourself.
You can just... Yeah, exactly.
So perhaps the bongs just aren't sharpened yet, and it's up to the user if they wish to sharpen their bong.
You know how in the US weed's legal in California?
Yeah.
Do you think that Woodenbong is going to become the LA of Australia?
Well, that's already Nimbin, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but I would love if...
Nimbin
where
and
is-
their Mardi Gras festival,
Oh, God, I love weed
which
culture.
is not
It's the
illegal
worst
if it's
thing
a
in the
pun, is
world.
it?
No, that's true. That's okay. I'm okay with Mardi Gras being for potheads. I'm just not okay with it being for old people. That's a callback.
Do you remember that we had the grey Mardi Gras that we talked about before?
I remember being very angry about it. But the
I was
weed
trying
one,
to find like any update on what's happened with the grey Mardi Gras, but I haven't, which is really sad.
the weed one doesn't make me as angry about that because I think it's easier to laugh at weed culture than old people culture.
Well, it's true because weed culture has less power over society than old people culture than boomer culture does.
If they build the giant bong, do you think that means
They will be
weed,
very powerful,
weed
Chris.
culture will be too powerful? So we're gonna have to take back the Mardi Gras festival
Yeah,
because
we're going to
they'll
have to
be
reclaim it because they'll have power.
the mainstream.
We're like, sorry, you can't appropriate Mardi Gras anymore because you have too much power. So, needless to say, this plan of Paul's has had a quite mixed response from the community. So he started a petition to get support for the idea, which includes a giant wooden bong with a tourist information centre underneath. However, the concept had drawn mixed response so far.
It had been like sending up a smoke signal.
This woman it says, Gitarbal elder and Woodenbong local, Gloria Williams, says the town's name was adapted from the local indigenous word, I can't pronounce this, Nyanggungbong.
Okay.
That was very bad pronunciation.
I think it was.
I'm sorry, my indigenous language pronunciation is not great. But she's saying it was This town's name was adapted from a local indigenous word, and it says, some interpret that as meaning duck on water. But Miss Williams has said it meant place of the platypus. That's lovely.
Adorable. Why don't we have like a 20-metre tall platypus?
Well, I want a 20-metre tall platypus now I've heard this.
If it also functions as a bong, you know, live and let live.
Well, maybe like meet in the middle. a 20-foot tall platypus statue that is also a bong. She says, the name Woodenbong has nothing to do with a bong, she said. We've got enough natural beauty here and we've got beautiful landscapes and mountains. We don't need anything man-made.
Kids, we don't need drugs. Just enjoy the trees.
Yeah, just enjoy the trees and then...
And she doesn't realise that trees is a slang term for weed.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. That's a new one for me. Got to add that in my notebook of how to look cool.
I don't think any... Here's the thing.
I'm like, hey, kids, are you ripping some sweet trees?
I don't think anyone over the age of 16 thinks that weed is, like, cool.
No, I don't think so.
I think
it's purely stuck with this man, this particular guy's generation. He watched a lot of, like, Cheech and Chong and those kind of movies growing up. It profoundly, you know, kind of like influenced his personality. It created him.
I like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle as much as the next guy, but I'm not trying to build the giant bong.
No, you're not.
Because I lack the carpentry skills.
Now, this is what the councillor says. Woodenbong-based Kyogle Shire councillor Lindsay Parsfield did not mind the idea of a big thing, but said a bong was wrong.
A bong was wrong.
It's an innovative idea, but I think it's totally inconsistent with the culture and values of the local community.
The bong is wrong. The bong
is wrong. That's what they're chanting outside this guy's workshop as he's creating the giant bong.
Bong is wrong.
Now, this at the end of this article, it brings up another controversy, which I believe, you know, we've mentioned, but I love this one, so I'm going to bring it back up. It says, the Woodenbong idea was not the first big proposal to spark recent controversy. The Big Bogan in Boganshire town of Ningen split opinion in the community when it was erected in 2015, and in 2010 the Ballina community fought to save its Big Prawn when the local council voted to demolish it.
Big Prawn is fun. The big
What's
bogan...
wrong with a big prawn?
Prawns are fucking great, you killjoys.
They're beautiful and they're very cute animals as well, and they taste good, so...
I think Canterbury needs a big thing to really stand out as Sydney's best suburb. So I'm suggesting the Big Tooheys New. That just stick next to the train station. It's as tall as a fucking skyscraper and inside has nothing in it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if you could hear that entire...
I heard
siren.
A real emergency happening outside.
Okay.
The Big Tooheys New has fallen down.
Yeah, it's fallen down and it's crushed someone. But they're going to be okay, so we can make puns about it.
Tooheys New, for our American listeners, is a type of beer that is sold in Ossiterraria.
Do people actually drink it, though?
I mean, I've drank some Tooheys.
I feel like these days... Even the Bogans are, like, getting onto Coronas and, like, Asahi and all of those, the imported
wild yak
beers.
And the fancy shit. That's true, actually.
And, like, the little creatures ale.
I used to date someone who, every time I would go over to her house, she lived with her parents, her dad would, who was a lovely Irish man, would offer me a VB and say VB was his favourite beer.
No!
And he'd be like, Chris, come watch the rugby and have a VB with me. And I was like...
Chris, come watch the rugby.
And I was like, both of those things are hell, but I will do it.
Because I need to relate to you.
Because I need to.
I feel obliged. And you know what? He knew that. He knew the position of power he was in as, like, you know, a father-in-law type figure, potentially. And he was like, Chris can't say no. I finally have someone who I can force to watch the footy and drink VBs with me.
All of his many sons liked doing it with him. It's just that I didn't, but I also was... doing it.
It's the power and satisfaction that he gets from knowing you don't want to do it, but that you have to do it.
We're not together anymore.
Yeah. Well, can see why. But that's about all there is to this story. I think if we're building a big thing in my lovely suburb of Larnay Covey, it would be a big Facebook comment section with lots of old people complaining.
The big F. The big... Do you want to just do, like...
The big Facebook logo.
What if it's the big Facebook logo? Because that way we can get Facebook to pay for it.
Now, there's a particular commenter who's always making really weird comments in the community's Facebook group. Let me just get his name up, because he's got, like, a family Facebook account.
Oh, fun.
It is... So, it would be a big, like, screenshot of an comment, which is just like...
Alison, have we just doxed 5 people?
Maybe.
All right, maybe I'll bleep that out. We'll see.
It's a family Facebook account. That's all you need to...
Okay.
Oh, my God. Anyway, can I read this comment that he left?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is... an election is coming up here. And in the local Facebook chat, he wrote... While there is not an Lane Cove link, I am posting this is support of all the women who can vote now. Last night at the Meet the Candidates, as I looked down from the stage, there were more women than men, and I wanted to acknowledge this after reading the article I have linked to.
I'm so glad we gave women the right to vote.
I know, sexism is over, thanks to Anthony,
really
Emily, Riley, Flynn, Nolan.
Something that we did really recently, and just
yeah, well, he's posting this article in support of all the women who can vote
who
now.
are allowed to vote now in 2018.
Thanks, it's like the biggest...
In 100 years, he's going to post about how glad he is gay marriage is legal now.
And he, maybe he voted no, but, in 100 years' time...
He'll be like... so he's only up till now, he's been opposed to women voting.
Yeah, he's been opposed to women voting until he got up on stage at the Meet the Candidates session and looked down and saw there were women there, and he's like, you know what? Isn't it great that women can vote?
I feel like we may go over time, but I want to sneak one more story in.
Yeah, sneak one more story in.
It's fucking amazing. So this has been reported widely, but I actually found it in the most prestigious place I found it was in The Guardian.
Okay, great.
This is also on the topic of weed. This happened in Nimbin.
Oh, Nimbin! Classic, yeah.
New South Wales man uses mobile phone to block arrow attack.
Oh, you know what? One of my friends sent me that story and I thought we weren't going to have enough time to get it.
No, I'm sneaking this motherfucker in.
So my friend who sent that in, there you go, it's in here.
We've got maximum 8 minutes left, and I'm going to see if we can get this shit done.
We'll get it done. We'll get it in there.
A mobile phone may have saved the life of a man who came under fire in an alleged bow and arrow attack in rural New South Wales. A 43-year-old man stopped his car at his driveway at a Nimbin property on Wednesday morning and noticed a man he knew, reportedly armed with an archery gear, New South Wales police said. The resident whipped out his mobile phone to take a photo of the armed man who was poised to fire, which is a fucking wild response to that situation.
It's a very 2019 response, isn't it? It's like, shit, someone's going to shoot me with a bow and arrow, better take a photo of this.
I would just fucking stop, drop, and roll behind the car. Because,
but then maybe you would have died because you wouldn't have had your mobile phone out to stop the bow and arrow attack.
The arrow pierced the man's mobile and hit him in the chin, causing a small cut. Officers arrested a 39-year-old man at the scene. The man was taken to Nimbin police station where he was charged with assault and damage to property. And I will say this, the phone is very damaged.
There's like an arrow literally poking through.
It's through it.
I'd like to picture this person taking his phone to the Apple store with the arrow through it. And the Apple store's like, sir, this isn't under warranty. And he's like, what do you mean? This is how I bought it. This is how it came.
So this has breached the casing of the phone. The warranty is no longer covering it. I want to say a few things. One, the structural integrity of this phone is very impressive because outside of the arrow through it, it has not bent or anything in any way. It's stayed remarkably sturdy as an arrow pierced it. Secondly, there's a screen protector on the phone, and it's been separated from the rest of the phone by a little bit, so it's dangling off the front of the arrow, but it's still solidly on there.
The screen protector, that's a very good screen protector.
Thirdly, it obviously didn't... Well, it hit the phone from behind, so it didn't actually get a chance to protect the screen.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
I will say
because if it did protect the screen from an arrow attack, I would say
good
that is your advertising campaign.
Now, unfortunately, it did not successfully, so I don't know if you should be using this brand of screen protector if you think you might end up in an archery situation.
If you think you might need to use your phone to defend yourself against an armed attacker with a bow and arrow.
Thirdly, how hard must he have been holding this phone that when a fucking...
It didn't, like, fly out of his hand?
That an arrow hit it with enough force to, like, go through it enough to hit him in the face that, like, the phone stayed in his hand. That's, like... Just everything about this is incredible.
I like just picturing this guy, you know, he approaches this guy with his phone out to take a photo of the guy armed with a bow and arrow. The arrow, like, is stopped in its paths by the phone, but, like, the force, like, pushes it back into his face. But in that entire movement, he's still got his phone out, poised to take a photo.
The phone had a case on it as well, so maybe the case was also responsible for just how, like, solid for this phone's, like, arrow blocking capabilities.
Yeah.
It's good that it was out, though, because if it had been, like, in his pocket and it had hit him, the arrow did, like, still come a couple centimeters out, so it would have still pierced him. But he's been saved by, I don't know what brand
His need to take a photo.
I think this is, I don't know what brand of phone this is. It's not an iPhone, I can say that much.
Sure. Probably a Samsung.
It'd be like a Samsung or something. And it's
like
whatever.
A Huawei or Google.
Thank you, Huawei, for saving this man's life from archery.
Yeah.
If someone tries to shoot you with a bow and arrow, don't fucking take a photo of them.
No, that's not my first response. But in this case, maybe it was good advice, Chris, because it saved his life.
Okay, but this can happen one time in the universe ever.
Yeah, it's true. It's already happened. That moment's passed.
I want a phone case that's like gunshot proof, arrow proof, like grenade proof.
It probably exists.
Yeah, what people are like life proof. I want like a war proof phone case.
Yeah, sure. Just in case.
Well, when the zombies come, I'm gonna need that shit because it's the humans you can't trust.
Yeah, well, that's true. Because the humans are going to shoot you.
People are going to be like, Chris, why are you still carrying that phone around? Phone service is not a thing anymore.
People are going to see me when I wake up in the morning, and they're going to see that, like, I'm really tired and, like, lethargic, and they're going to be like, oh, shit, she's a zombie, and shoot me in the head. That's what's going to happen in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, because every morning...
I'm not a zombie, I'm just tired.
Just tired every day.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have your phone there, so your phone will save you.
Yeah, I rest my phone next to my head because it's got my alarm on it. And
so you just grab it, and your phone is your fucking Captain America shield.
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
Like, you used to block everything. You throw
block
it like a frisbee.
Block the shots of people who would think I'm a zombie in my bed.
Oh my god, that's so going to be a superhero in 5 years. There's going to be, like, when they're making Avengers 6, which will inevitably happen, there's going to be, like, Phone Girl in it.
No,
and
Chris, there is a movie. There is a movie like that called Cyberboy.
What?
I think it's called Cyberboy. And he's attacked by... Oh my god, I'm going to find it out. Boy, movie?
Does he use a phone like a Captain America shield?
Well, is that... No, maybe, is it Cyberboy? No. Is that the TV series?
I don't know.
Okay, there's a movie... I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Perhaps it's a TV series. Basically, what happens in this medium, whether it's a TV show or a movie, is the guy gets shot with a bullet and he blocks his bullet with the phone, and the phone's, like, inner workings go inside the head of his head, and then he, like, is able to use his phone in his brain.
Then he's Huawei Man.
Yeah.
That's fucking incredible.
Movie where kid gets shot.
Alison, you learnt how to do fucking search engine...
blocks with phone.
You did the same degree as me. You know that that's not how to Google something.
That is how it works.
Keywords.
Hang on, I think I might have found it.
What's it called?
No, that's a different thing. Oh.
If a bow and arrow pierces you along with the phone materials, does that mean you get arrow-based powers as well? So then the question is, like, do you just get really good at archery, or can you, like, shoot your fingers off like arrows and then they regrow?
Well, both of them. I just really want to know what the fuck this movie is, or this TV show.
like the Wolverine claws come out, I want like arrows that shoot out of my arm like that. I don't know what value that'll have outside of zombie apocalypse, or like if my neighbors are being really rude, but...
No, it's Eye Boy.
Eye Boy.
Eye Boy. That's what it is. It's Eye Boy.
Okay, I'm gonna Google Eye Boy.
Google Eye Boy and look at the picture. It's from 2017. It has no right to be this bad.
Oh fuck! It's got the girl who plays Arya Stark in it.
Yeah, it does. This is what I found it, by the way, through doing a really dumb Google search. It says, a teenager wakes up from a coma to discover that fragments from his broken smartphone have been embedded into his brain and turned him into an actualized app with superhuman powers.
Guess what I'm doing this evening?
Watching Eye Boy.
Watching Eye Boy. Holy shit.
Chris, it's got a sexual assault scene. This movie doesn't deserve to have a sexual assault scene. It's
not...
It's
what
not
fucking
good.
Tone does this movie have?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Alright, well, homework for everyone is apparently we're all going to watch Eye Boy now.
Watch Eye Boy.
I want to read everyone's book club presentation on
On
Eye Boy.
Netflix original movie, Eye Boy.
I think we should wrap up.
We should definitely wrap up. I'm glad that I was able to work in Eye Boy into this.
So am I.
Oh no.
Thank you everybody for listening. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RedMenaceCast. If you have any stories, you can email us at redmenacecast@gmail.com. Yeah, I believe that, Alison, you have a final pun
this
for this
is
week.
very different. Well, I've got a lot of puns this week, in case it wasn't obvious. But this is a one to end it, because it's a very lame pun. After all of that punning we've heard, this is from the Port Macquarie News by Robert Doherty, and it says, Port Macquarie crowds set to slither in for Reptile Expo. Bad.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Goodbye, friends.
Farewell.